let me ask you something. And this is something I think that we have to deal with. Take yourself out of the storyline that we've heard from some of these individuals and look at it with a broader lens. From 2007 to 2008, depending upon who you listen to, all the way to 2023. These guys here on the screen, which includes Luis Elizondo with ATIP, excuse me, there we go. Luis Elizondo with ATIP. You've got Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick with Arrow. You've got Dr. James Lakatsky with OSAP. You've got John J. Stratton. J. Stratton is generally how he's referred to with the UAP task force. All of these guys collectively have 16 years of leadership. And if you believe all of them and take the controversy of whether or not this is a UAP, research effort with OSAP or ATIP, or was ATIP a program, take all of that out of the equation for purposes of this. For 16 years, none of these guys were able to develop any type of program, policy, or procedure that the DoD could utilize. Now, let's just say some of these individuals were in on the ground floor and their intentions were 100% genuine and they wanted to make this happen. Fine. But why is it that no one was able to make it happen all through those 16 years that these guys led their respective programs? Even those that aren't disputed as being UAP-specific efforts, what happened during those years? Now, I'm not trying to specifically blame these guys, but they are the leaders. A lot of people out there throw a lot of hate at Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. And you know what? Maybe, and I would even say myself that it is deserved. But if you blame him, you have to blame the others that came before him. What did they do? It should be noted. Now, I'm sorry, it has to be noted that there is not a single UAP research report from OSAP or from ATIP that leads us to believe that they did anything from an investigative standpoint. The material that came out through the OSAP program was all things that were non-UFO related. The exception was the one DIRD report that talked about UAP effects, but the one that leaked out and was published, I believe, first by Popular Mechanics, was actually different from the one that DIA submitted and released out via a FOIA request. So what happened there? Are they hiding it? Well, maybe. But let's just say for a moment that there was UAP angles to OSAP. Where is that material? And this is an age-old question that some out there are so sick and tired of me asking, but we have to keep asking it. What happened to the tens of millions of dollars if this really was a research program devoted to UAP? Where's that material? And if it's sitting in the private sector, well, they don't own it. The DIA and the taxpayers do. So, I can go off on a whole tangent on OSAP alone, and the idea and concept and allegation and rumor that they, with taxpayer money, meaning Bass, the contractor, purchased databases like MUFON, which, I know that Bigelow did get involved with that, but was it taxpayer money? Was this something that the DIA wanted? Fast forward to ATIP. Was it a continuation of OSAP specific to UAP nuts and bolts aerial threats? Not the paranormal stuff at Skinwalker Ranch, but specifically to that. Okay, let's say it is. Where is there any supporting documentation to support that? And what were they doing for years? It wasn't just Luis Elizondo. He had other people, right? It wasn't just James Lakatsky. He had other people, right? What happened there? Fast forward to the UAP task force and Jay Stratton. What happened there? So there's a lot of unanswered questions here that, I've asked for years, but we need to continue asking them because it's a fascinating tale to see unfold and the story's not told yet. And it doesn't matter if you believe me or support the questions that I ask. The bottom line is we still don't have the answers. And what's even more interesting about this is those that you see on the screen here don't agree about the relationship between their own programs. For example, if you read and hear and listen to James Lakatsky from the DIA and his leadership of OSAP, he contradicts Luis Elizondo. Why is that? Why don't more people care about that? What happened there? What's the disconnect? So those types of things, yeah, I mean, may have an easy answer, but you know what? The longer it goes without answers, without these gentlemen actually addressing it, the more interested I get and the more loud I will become asking the questions, because there's something there. There's something there that they don't want us to see, not about UAP, but about these programs themselves. And what is that? We can speculate until our eyes fall out, but until we get those answers, that's all what we're left to do. So let's just keep asking, keep pushing, and hopefully we'll get some clarity, because yes, it is absolutely important to these topics. And yes, it is important because it shows how we got here today. It's the foundation. We can all at least agree to that, right? It was the foundation that led us to Congress doing what they're doing today and creating the legislation that they have. And so if this is the foundation, then let's understand how strong or how weak it is. That's why it's important. Some people just want to shove it to the side. They're like, leave it alone, John. You're really annoying. Well, maybe, but I'm not going to leave it alone. Because again, this is the foundation that everything that we talk about in 2024 and beyond is built on. And if that starts to crumble, then everything else will crumble along with it. And are we seeing that as we speak? Is that something that's going on? Is Congress losing interest? I said it a little while ago. To be honest with you, I'll stand by that. There's not a whole lot of people that are out here advocating for the issue. There's some, but there's not a lot. And some of those that were champions a year and a half ago kind of fall off the map. They haven't really been around. You've had some others that have come forward, but their strength, let's just say, and that's not supposed to be disrespectful, but the power, the strength of the power they yield within the Senate or Congress is not necessarily as strong as it was maybe a year and a half ago. So what's going on? What are we seeing unfold here? So that's why a lot of that history is important, and that's why we need to figure it out.